Welcome to the final day of the 2025 Lloyds Tour of Britain Women. We're in the iconic city of Glasgow on the banks of the River Clyde for what promises to be a spectacular conclusion to this year's race. The riders set out from Yorkshire 3 days ago and have thrilled the crowds of spectators that have turned out along the route to show their support. The racing has been tough, and yesterday's stage tested the world's best to the absolute limit. The peloton rolled out of Kelso, with Kristen Faulkner wearing the race leader's green jersey, but it was to be an eventful day for the American champion. She suffered a mechanical early on and had to borrow one of her teammates' bikes to limit her time loss. Lizzie Dinan and her Little Trek team were piling on the pressure at the front of the race, but Faulkner did eventually rejoin the lead group. Dominika Bloraszek was first over 2 of the day's 5 classified climbs, and that would gain her enough points to win the Queen of the Mountains competition. The wet conditions made the roads treacherous, and with 56 kilometres to go, a big crash brought down several of the leading group.
Oh, big crash at the front of the race. That's brought a number of riders down. The green jerseys come down, and this is a terrible crash.
Once again, race leader Faulkner was caught out and forced to chase down the front of the race. And there was more trouble ahead. That crash damaged her shoe, and she had to get a replacement from the team car. This time, she was unable to get back to the leaders, and her hold on the race lead was slipping away. Up ahead, a group of riders, including Kat Ferguson and Ali Wollaston, broke clear on the final climb of the day. As they approached the stage finish in Kelso, the heavens opened.
Onto the cobbles now. Kat Ferguson's got the acceleration, she's got the injection of pace, she's got the jump on the rest of them. Josie Nelson trying to come through. Well, the cat is out of the bag. Ferguson wins, and it's a first World Tour victory.
That dramatic win and the 10 bonus seconds that came with it mean that Kat Ferguson leads the race by just 3 seconds from Ali Wollaston. Caroline Swinkles is third, ahead of Rihanna Marcus, Sarah Van Dam and Megan Jastrab. As the riders made their preparations ahead of the final stage in Glasgow, we caught up with the top 3 who were separated by just 12 seconds and will be battling it out for overall victory.
Really excited for today. I think the team's really ready. We've planned and checked the course really well, and we have a good plan in place to hopefully hold on to the jersey today.
Yesterday was a really hectic day, but I'm glad to be on the right side of the split. The team were amazing yesterday, but for sure today will be a really exciting day.
Yesterday was really a stressful day, but of course a lot of crashes, and then in the final we gave everything. I think it was really a good day for us, moving up to a podium on GC, which was the goal of yesterday. And then, today one less stage, and I hope to keep it. GC is quite split, but then at the same time it's not split enough to be secure, so we have to be attentive.
Obviously I'm 3 seconds behind on GC, so there's 3 bonus sprints today, so fingers crossed we just go full gas for all 3.
I think it's all about the bonus seconds, to be honest. I think we're ready to sprint if it comes to a sprint and there's no breakaways to take away the seconds. I'm going to back my sprint, and we'll give everything for the 3 intermediate sprints and also for the finish.
Today's stage also marks the final time that Lizzie Dinan will compete at the Tour of Britain Women. She's won the race twice and enjoyed a remarkable career, inspiring a generation of young riders.
I've been watching Lizzie since before I even started racing.
She's definitely had the biggest influence on my cycling career.
I always looked up to her, especially the year when she was world champ. She really rocked that jersey.
I feel really lucky that I know I'm retiring, that I know that this is my last Tour of Britain, and I'm determined to just enjoy it.
The work that she's done for women's cycling and the visibility that we have now from when she started to where we are now is just amazing, and she's been a huge catalyst in that.
Lizzie will always be and hold a special place in my heart in how I got into the sport. The first memory I have watching her is at the London Olympics when she won the first medal for Team GB, and since then, with her being really near me, she's been the rider that I've fixated on.
Oh, she's such an amazing rider. And now as a teammate, it's really nice to ride together with her. She's such a good domestique and she has the experience. She always stays calm. It's a real pleasure to spend the last year together.
She's like a legend in the sport, and it's cool to see her like race on these home roads and be in the peloton with her. I've looked up to her for many years, and yeah, now I get to race alongside her, and it's really special.
She's been a huge inspiration for me and really paved the way for women's cycling, I think, and it'll be a really sad day to see her step away from professional sport.
No regrets, definitely not. I mean, Glasgow means a lot to me. I won the Commonwealth Games there and national title, and you know, I love racing in Glasgow. The people are incredibly warm and friendly. They welcome us. There'll be a great atmosphere, and I just want to soak it up, yeah.
Right, here's a closer look at what the peloton will be facing today. Stage 4 of the Lloyds Tour of Britain Women will start and finish on Glasgow Green. The riders will be tackling 10 laps of an 8.4-kilometre circuit through the city centre, taking in some of Glasgow's most iconic landmarks. There will be intermediate sprints at the end of laps 4, 6 and 8 before the peloton races to the finish line for the final time, and the race winner will be crowned. The stage is about to get underway, so it's time to hand you over to our commentary team of Hannah Walker and Hayley Simmons.
The fourth and final stage of the 2025 Lloyds Tour of Britain Women, starting and finishing on Glasgow Green. We're in the iconic city of Glasgow. 93 riders starting this final stage, and it's all to play for in the general classification. It's tied at the top of the standings, but we've got those 3 intermediate sprints with the bonus seconds on offer, and of course the big bonus seconds at the stage finish too. There's a lot to play for today. There's a lot to race for.
Absolutely. You've got individual stage honours, you've got the overall classification honours, and although we think maybe there are only 3 riders still in contention for that, the differing ambitions of the teams involved is going to make today really interesting.
10 laps of an 8.4-kilometre circuit here around the city of Glasgow. There is the green jersey on the shoulders of Kat Ferguson of Movistar. She's the leader in the general classification. Just to her far left side, you can see the red jersey. That's Ali Wollaston, who is borrowing the jersey off the shoulders of Kat, because of course she's in the green jersey. Yesterday we wrapped up the Queen of the Mountains competition. Dominika Wrodeczek is the winner of that competition. The Polish champion only needs to finish the stage to go home with that jersey on her shoulders. Millie Cousins is occupying the white jersey as the best young rider, but of course that's because Kat Ferguson is indeed in green. Through kilometre 0, and the stage is officially underway. Riders amassing themselves towards the fore, including that red jersey on the shoulders of Ali Wollaston.
It's going to be fast and furious today. It's an 8.4-kilometre circuit, but in each lap there are 12 90-degree corners. There's technicalities, there's ups and downs and undulations to contend with, and I think we're going to see a real battle today.
19 seconds in total are available at those bonuses, 3 seconds at each of the intermediate sprints. The first of those coming at the end of the 4th lap, that is with 50.4 kilometres to go. The next coming at the end of the 6th lap, that's with 33.6 kilometres to go. And then the final intermediate sprint at the end of the 8th lap with 16.8 kilometres to go. Here, problem for one of the riders from Picnic Posternel. Well, that's one of the big favourites for the stage victory today. That's Charlotte Kool, the Dutch woman.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously early in the stage, but the nature of this circuit means that it can be quite difficult to regain contact with the bunch when the racing is truly on. But Charlotte Kool is very experienced, and she won't panic. She'll sort herself out and then work her way back through the cars to the back of this bunch.
There's lots of colours amassing themselves towards the front, including Visma Lease Bike with their full complement of riders. Also, Lorena Wiebe is the European champion. FDJ Suez have got a big job on their hands today because they're chasing that green jersey. You can see those riders in the navy blue jersey with the red sleeve. And it's also SD Works Pro Time who are up towards the front in those purple jerseys. Trying to control today's race is going to be difficult. However, positioning's crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a right-hand corner which takes us onto Glasgow Green, and at that point the road or the path into Glasgow Green narrows, and I think teams will use the opening few laps to really get a feel for that finish and work out the best way to position their race leaders to put them in the strongest position possible going into the finish.
Well, right on cue, and the peloton enter into Glasgow Green, into that narrowing. Riders trying to fight their way for position. Joe Tinley in that red jersey, and when you see this helicopter shot, you can see how stretched out this peloton is. It's all being led still by SD Works Pro Time. They know exactly how to hold a position, take control of a bunch, and this is leaving several riders at the back when you're having to chase back on after each and every corner. And you mentioned it already, if you're sprinting out of some of these bends that we have, you're expending so much energy.
Exactly, and I think the fatigue of the previous 3 stages, in addition to the fatigue that the riders are going to be feeling from these constant accelerations today, is going to mean that we're going to see quite a few riders ejected out of the back of the bunch as at some point the elastic will snap.
On the far left-hand side in the white jersey, that's Caroline Swinkles of UAE Team ADQ. She comes into the day 3rd overall, only 12 seconds in arrears. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that she can recoup some of the seconds that she needs to try and get herself back on top. But right now she's in a podium position as the peloton goes through. 8 laps to go here on the 4th stage. Heading into the lap for the first intermediate sprint of today's stage. At the back here in the blue jersey, you've got the Italian Alessia Vigiglia of FDJ Suez. She's an important piece in the puzzle for that French squad for Ali Wollaston today. On the right-hand side, that's Tamsin Miller. They make the right-hand turn onto West George Street. They'll soon pass George Square on the right-hand side. But teams at the front are getting themselves set because they know they need to try and score the bonus seconds here.
Absolutely. We haven't seen any breakaways so far, which is what Movistar team would have quite liked, actually. They would have quite hoped that a few riders would go off the front, stay off the front for laps 4, 6 and 8 and take those bonus seconds, but that's not happened. And one of the reasons for that is that the race has been monitored very closely by the riders from FDJ Suez, who really need to get Ali Wollaston lined up to sprint and gain some bonus seconds over Kat Ferguson.
Although we're in a city centre circuit, this is still 82.2 kilometres in total, across these 10 laps. But given the nature of the course, the corners, the twists, the turns, some technical aspects, and of course the impetus that's been going on at the front, because the teams know that they need to take these seconds. On the left-hand side, it's Lizzie Deignan in her final Lloyds Tour of Britain Women on the far left in that red, yellow and blue jersey, the former world champion, who's setting things up, and she's setting such a blistering pace. It nullifies any potential of breakaways.
Exactly, and you know, the riders that we would often see taking the breakaways are maybe the British continental team riders, but what we're seeing is that the fatigue from the racing, that maybe they're not used to these long stage races and they're struggling a little bit at the back, but also finding your position within this World Tour bunch on such a technical circuit. These riders will be less experienced in doing that, and I think that's another reason why maybe we haven't seen the breakaways managing to go on this stage so far.
When you take a look at this front shot of the peloton, you've got Aude Bianik, one of the most experienced riders in this peloton, turned professional back in 2013. You've got Floortje Mackay, who won Gent Wevelgem back in 2015. You've got the European champion who's up there in the white jersey, Lorena Wiebes, Loretta Hansen, one of the best super domestiques of her generation. You've also got the green jersey, who is in her first year as a pro, as a World Tour pro, leading this race overall and just looking so cool, calm, collected and comfortable there.
She's approached this race with such maturity. She came in with high ambitions, but knowing that it would be difficult to achieve them. And throughout stages that have been very, very hectic, Kat Ferguson has positioned herself so well. She's had great teammates from Movistar really assisting her, and the team have rallied around her to help her achieve those ambitions that she's had.
Marie Linette is the rider who's on the front in the navy blue and red jersey from FDJ Suez. Just on a wheel is Celia Géry. Look at the rider in the red jersey, that's Ali Wollaston. She's poised and ready, and Kat Ferguson isn't letting the rider from New Zealand out of her sights because she knows that Wollaston is going to try and challenge for these bonus seconds.
They're entering onto Glasgow Green, and it's the FDJ Suez team that are really lining it out and making sure that Ali Wollaston is really well positioned coming into the right-hand corner that she'll take with a few hundred metres to go before the sprint line. And this is almost gearing up as though it's the final sprint of the stage rather than just the first of 3 intermediate sprints.
You're quite right. This looks like the lead-out trains are setting themselves up for a final with 400 metres to go. It's Celia Géry who is on the front for Ali Wollaston. She's constantly taking a look around. She's keeping the pace high. She's got so much power that nobody can try and challenge. Anna Henderson on the right-hand side tries to come round but doesn't do so successfully. Here comes Kat Ferguson, who swings it into this right-hand bend. She throws the bike in, sprints immediately out of the corner. 100 metres to go until the line. Wollaston is latched onto the wheel of Ferguson. They're sprinting it out between them for this first intermediate sprint. Well, it's almost a coming together there between Wollaston and Ferguson. Wollaston takes the 3 bonus seconds. It's Ferguson who settles for 2, and Sarah Van Dam of Sarah Tizit Pro Cycling gets the 1 second. Oh, that was close.
She did really well to hold that up there. Kat Ferguson is such a natural, instinctive bike rider.
There we get confirmation. Ali Wollaston taking the 10 points and the 3 bonus seconds. Ferguson with the 7 and the 2 bonus seconds. Van Dam taking the 5 and the 1 bonus second. What's going on here at the back? This is the leader, Kat Ferguson, in the green jersey. She's just out of the saddle, bouncing on her pedals.
It looks as though maybe she's wondering if she's got a rear wheel puncture. She's just checking the pressure in that back tyre. So I wonder if she's unhappy with something that's going on with her bike there. It doesn't look that flat, but you know, potentially she's not quite happy with the pressure in that wheel. So let's just see if anything changes as a result of that.
We'll keep an eye on Kat Ferguson. Meanwhile, at the front of the race, it's Sarah Tizit Pro Cycling with one of their riders who is trying to inject some pace and ignite some pace here. If they can try and force a breakaway, that would be great news for Sarah Tizit Pro Cycling, because they want to ensure that Sarah Van Dam can remain in the top 10 of the general classification. And if they can try and take away any bonus seconds, that works well for the Canadian.
Well, exactly, because, you know, we talk about the podium positions in the general classification, but this is a World Tour race, and actually for some riders, finishing in the top 5, the top 10 on the general classification in this race is an incredible result. And so for Sarah Van Dam, if she can pick up a bonus second, that actually moves her away in terms of overall time from Megan Jastrab, who started the day in 6th, and Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig, who was in 7th, but on the same time as Sarah Van Dam.
Passing George Square once more, it's FDJ Suez, who again look like they're setting themselves up for a final of a stage. It's the second intermediate sprint that they're travelling towards. Amber Kraku's on the front. They've got Celia Géry once more, as well as Alessia Vigilia.
The formation of this team is really impressive. They're moving Ali Wollaston into exactly the right position at the right time, and meaning that she's not having to expend too much energy herself. But each of these intermediate sprints is really looking like the finale of the race.
This takes organisation. It takes a big team plan to come together to execute this in the way they have done up until this point in the race.
Absolutely, you know, they've got great direction in the team car behind them, Lars Boom. He's going to be keeping calm and talking them through the stage, but it's easier said than done in this kind of race. You know, it's all very well telling the girls you need to move to the front now, but actually being able to execute it successfully as a team is another matter entirely, and it shows the experience and the ability of the riders.
At the back of the group here, number 42 in the Stars and Stripes, that's Kristen Faulkner, the Olympic road race champion, a former wearer of the green jersey, the Lloyds green jersey. She had a day to forget yesterday with crashes, mechanicals, problems with broken shoes. She lost that green jersey, but today she's going to try and fight and help her teammates, and in particular Babette van der Wolf, for the end of today's stage.
She never gave up yesterday, and that's something that you've got to say about Kristen Faulkner. The respect for the green jersey, giving it everything until she crossed the line and had to surrender that jersey to Kat Ferguson.
The Great Britain national team move forward in the white jersey. This is April Tacey on the front. Just on the wheel is Flora Perkins. They're communicating to each other because they're wondering, where is Millie Cousins? Flora Perkins, you can see she's looking around. There she is. Millie Cousins comes up to the wheel of Flora Perkins, and now they inject the pace. Now they get themselves set, because if Millie Cousins can try and take some bonus seconds here, she can try and launch herself up that general classification. Great effort from Tacey, the young British rider.
There's been some really impressive riding from a lot of the British riders in this race, not just the ones on the Great Britain national team, also obviously Kat Ferguson and Lauren Dixon, the rider from Hansling-Alba Development Road team, who's had an incredible race at such a high level.
We just saw Zoe Backstead move her way forward in the pink jersey. She's looking after Cecilia Uttrup-Ludwig, and for later on, looking after the interests of Chiara Consoni. They enter into Glasgow Green once more as they get themselves set for the second intermediate sprint. There you can see Marta Lack in the purple jersey, who's on the front. Lorena Wiebes, this is interesting now. The European champion is sitting in second wheel. We didn't see a feature in the first intermediate sprint. She's not looking for any points for the points classification, and she's certainly not in the general classification because she's 13 minutes in arrears.
No, but she'll be looking for the stage victory, and because of the technical nature of this finish and of this circuit, I wonder if actually what she's doing is looking at having a practice run ready for the finale, working out whether she wants to go into this corner first or maybe in a wheel, and where exactly to launch her sprint for when it comes down to lap 10.
Wiebes takes first position into this sweeping right-hand bend with 150 metres to go. She accelerates. Meanwhile, it's Ferguson who's latched onto the wheel of the European champion. She's sprinting for these seconds, and Wollaston is trying to come round a throw for the line. Wow, that was close. We're going to have to go to a photo finish between those two riders. This battle between Wollaston and Ferguson is exceptional. Wow, separate those two.
Half a tyre at most, I think. That was an incredible sprint, and you could see...
Well, there we get the confirmation. Wollaston takes the 10 points in the 3 seconds. Ferguson with the 7 points in the 2 seconds. Wiebes taking 5 and the 1 bonus second. Now, oh, big crash. Big crash on the right-hand side by one of the riders from Picnic Postenel.
She just clipped the edge of that cone, which unfortunately sent her off her line.
Dear me. Well, we sincerely hope that that rider from Picnic Postenel and the spectator are okay. And, well, what is happening here? The green jersey's come to a stop. The green jersey is off the bike. Bike is on the floor. She's waiting for the mechanic to give her her spare bike. This is not what she wants before the third intermediate sprint. Well, she's looking cool, calm, composed. The mechanic pushes her off. She's back underway, but she's got to chase.
Before we rejoin the race, let's find out a bit more about one of the up-and-coming stars of British cycling.
My name's Imogen Wolf and I ride for Team Visma bike.
What food could you not live without?
Greek yogurt, savoury, sweet, on everything.
What superpower would you like to have?
Maybe invisibility would be cool, and then you can just solo breakaway and then, yeah, reappear with 200 metres to go.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Favourite movie?
Good Will Hunting.
Favourite place to go on holiday?
Italy. I love Italy. I love the food. I love the people.
Best subject at school?
Maths and sciences.
Worst subject at school?
Languages.
Oh, next question. Favourite word in another language?
Probably knuffle, which is like hug in Welsh.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Well, a cat always tells me I look like a zebra, so probably a zebra.
Which dish do you cook best?
A shakshuka.
Favourite board game?
Monopoly, because my brother always makes me play it.
Who or what makes you laugh the most?
Probably my family. My dad's quite funny.
The next time round, it'll be the third and final intermediate sprint. They've got 3/4 of a lap to go until they'll get to that place. Kat Ferguson remains the leader virtually of this general classification, but by the narrowest of margins, only 1 second separating her and Ali Wollaston. Caroline Swinkles is at 16 seconds, whilst Marcus is now at 44 seconds in 4th. Sarah Van Dam is at 55 seconds in 5th place, but this is as tight as you like at the top.
Absolutely, and Kat Ferguson has done a really good job of getting back into this peloton following that bike change. It was a really well-executed bike change. She stayed calm, she stayed collected, and it looked as though it was planned. We did see her bounce her rear tyre earlier, suggesting that there was something not quite right, maybe a puncture, maybe a mechanical, we're not sure. But she obviously managed to stay on that same frame for the second intermediate sprint, and then took the opportunity as soon as possible after that sprint had been completed to then receive a new bike from her team, and she's now back within the peloton in good time for this third intermediate sprint.
She is, but looking at the head of the peloton, I'm wondering, where are the riders of Movistar? I can see riders from FDJ Suez, I can see riders from Visma Lisa Bike, also from SD Works Pro Time in the purple jerseys. But right now, well, there they are. They're on the far right-hand side. You can just start to see Orbianik and Floortje Mackaij in those white jerseys, as well as Ruiz Perez move forward. And there is the green jersey of Kat Ferguson. We're looking on the right-hand side, around 3/4 of the way back in this peloton.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult for them. They came to this race with a smaller team. They came with 5 riders rather than the full contingent of 6, which FDJ Suez have. And we have seen them work really well on the earlier stages. On stage 1, they were doing a lot of work to try and close the gap to Kim Lacourt and to Kristin Faulkner. But we haven't seen them quite so prominent on today's stage.
How detrimental is that then? If you've not come with a full roster of 6 riders, you've only brought 5 riders. When you take a look, you've got Kat Ferguson, only 19 years of age. You've got Laura and Lucia Ruiz Perez, the 2 Spanish sisters who are here. They're both 20 years of age, the twins. Floortje Mackaij, 29, and Orbianik at 34. She's the most experienced within the roster, but still, you've only got 5 riders in total.
Exactly, and as promising as the 2 Spanish twins are, Laura and Lucia Ruiz Perez, they are a bit younger, they're a bit less experienced, and maybe they don't have the kilometres of stage racing in their legs. We know that Orbianik and Floortje Mackaij are extremely strong and experienced riders, but the 2 of them between them can't share all of the work.
A flick of the elbow from Ellen Backstead in the white, a flick of the elbow from Nina Burton in the pink. Mira Carnarvon is just behind Nina Burton. EF Education Oatly doing a sterling job at protecting Babette van der Wolf today. Meanwhile, up towards the front, AG Insurance Soudal, well, they've lost 2 of their big leaders in Kim Lacourt and Gladys Verhulst due to crashes, and so they didn't finish the previous stages. But now they've got to try and make a new strategy, a new race plan for them.
Exactly. There are still a lot of teams that have an interest in this stage that maybe we haven't seen so much of up until now. I think most notably as well, the Liv Alula Jayco team will want to get something out of this stage. They're yet to win a race this season, and so they'll be wanting to show their jersey on the podium.
At the back is still the Olympic champion in the Stars and Stripes, number 42. Number 5 here is Skylar Schneider, the rider for SD Works Pro Time. She's going to be integral later on for Lorena Wiebes. She's just coming up to the back wheel of her teammate Lisa Van Bella, one of the new signings for the Dutch squad. And meanwhile, as we go on to the climb, the first part of the climb here onto Finniston Street, before we make that right-hand turn onto Argyle Street, we start to see a few more teams, and it's always the same teams who are prominent to the fore, especially heading into the next intermediate sprint.
Absolutely, and as we expect, the team of FDJ Suez are right at the front. They need to protect Ali Wollaston. It's such a tight margin at the top, and if Ali Wollaston manages to outsprint Kat Ferguson by 1 place yet again, as she has on the previous 2 sprints, then those 2 riders are going to be tied at the top on time, and then, you know, we're going to be looking towards the final sprint and what happens there.
And if neither rider scores any or takes any of the bonus seconds in the top 3 at the finish line for finish placings, then if you have a situation where you've got 2 or more riders who are on the same time in the general classification, the placings obtained in the stages previously will be added together as a last resort. The last stage will be considered. And so currently, if you add that up, Kat Ferguson has a total of 11 and Ali Wollaston 14, because Kat Ferguson has taken 2 5th places, a stage victory yesterday, and Ali Wollaston an 8th on the opening day and 2 3rd places.
Yeah, so we're going to be in a situation where we'll be looking at the results of today's stage as well and seeing the finishing positions from today's stage. I can't actually think off the top of my head of another race where we've been in that situation. Previously, the Lloyds Tour of Britain Women has been decided by a single second, but there was that time margin at the finish that separated the riders. So we're really in for an exciting finish today.
We are. It's nail-biting, and this is where sports directors, this is where some of the experienced riders within a team really come into their own, because they've got to insert some calmness into what is a very, very stressful situation now between Movistar and FDJ Suez. Make one mistake, panic, and it could all go to pieces.
Absolutely, and you're exactly right. This is where you need the sports directors in the car as well, because the riders are concentrating so much on what they're doing within the race, where they're positioning, where they are on the circuit, at what point they need to move forward their team leader. It's very difficult for them to also be doing the mental arithmetic on the bike of what the time gaps are, where the bonus seconds are, and so on and so forth. And so you need the information being relayed to you as well from the team cars behind.
This is almost like a points race, isn't it, on the track in the velodrome, calculating, adding up, doing the mental arithmetic on the go whilst being at full throttle and racing and having to think about the whole lap, where you need to be, positioning. You've got 93 riders or 92 of the riders who are around you. This is a big, big moment. This is the highest level of the sport, a World Tour race, and it's all to play for.
Absolutely, and you know, referencing the points race, this should therefore suit Ali Wollaston. In that situation, you don't have the race radios, you don't have the team car, and so maybe actually this leans in her favour a little bit.
They lean it into the sweeping left-hand bend. Nordbiani just keeps a nice high tempo. She takes a little look around. She's so attentive, she's so aware. Floortje Mackay moves herself forward, and Lorena Wiebes is sitting well placed once again. Will she go for this intermediate sprint, or does she feel like she's opened up the legs and the lungs enough in that second intermediate sprint? Right on cue, FDJ Suez in those navy blue and red jerseys move forward with Ali Wollaston. It's all on and resting on this third sprint. She knows she needs to try and get the better of Kat Ferguson, but where is Kat Ferguson? Where is the green jersey?
I can't see her at the moment. She's obviously been unhappy with her bike situation in the previous two sprints. And so now, potentially, she'll feel a bit more comfortable. There she is. She's just on the shoulder of Lorena Wiebes, and what a wheel to take, because we know from experience that Lorena Wiebes is always in the right position at the right time. So that's an excellent wheel to be following.
Taking the right-hand turn into Glasgow Green, Kat Ferguson with gritted teeth. She knows that this is going to be crucial if she wants to go home with the overall victory here at the Lloyds Tour of Britain Women. She knows that she can't let Ali Wollaston off the hook whatsoever. And FDJ Suez are one of the most organised teams here. Movistar are almost leaving Kat Ferguson to her own devices.
Yeah, Kat Ferguson is actually almost joining the FDJ Suez lead-out train, and she's just marking Ali Wollaston and hoping that perhaps she can just come round Ali Wollaston at the right moment and pip her on the line, like we nearly saw her doing in that previous sprint.
Marie Linette is on the front. She swings off to the right-hand side as we look at it. She hands over to Ali Wollaston. She's got Celia Géry, who is also trying to help and assist Wollaston. Can she try and take any bonus seconds away from Kat Ferguson? Ferguson is latched onto the wheel of Wollaston, and this is going to be another close battle for these seconds coming into the third and final intermediate sprint. Well, it's a clear marking this time round. Wollaston takes the 3 bonus seconds. Kat Ferguson once again taking 2 bonus seconds. It's Géry who takes the 1 bonus second, but now they go into the final sprint for the stage finish, tied on time.
It couldn't get more exciting, could it? And I loved seeing the encouragement being shouted on the radio as the teammate pulled off to the side.
There we get the confirmation. Wollaston taking the 3 bonus seconds, Ferguson with the 2 seconds, Géry with the 1, Gasparini and Borgstrom picking up points in that classification. This is an absolute blockbuster, and it's all going to come down to the sprint finish at the final. She tried earlier on, and Anna Morris into this final lap is trying to go clear. This is the rider from the Great Britain national team who is in time trial mode now.
She's got a little bit of daylight. I'm not sure whether this move is going to be successful with so many different interests coming into this final lap, but it's a brave move from Anna Morris, and we know that she's a strong rider and a very capable of time trialist.
Thinking of what we've seen so far throughout today's stage, which riders are we looking out for? Who are the big favourites to try and take a stage victory today?
We've already mentioned her countless times, but undoubtedly the European champion Lorena Wiebes wants to win today's stage, and we saw her testing her legs on that second intermediate sprint. You've also obviously got the likes of Anna Henderson from Little Trek. You've got Babette van der Wolf, Ninka Veenhoven, Chiara Consonni, Charlotte Kool, and most of these teams are teams that haven't necessarily featured so much in terms of stage podiums in the race so far, and they'll all be wanting to get something out of this stage race.
And for some of those teams, they don't have any focus on the general classification, so throughout today's stage they've been able to preserve their energy, follow the wheels, keep themselves out of trouble, and really have a focus on trying to take a stage win.
Exactly. You know, they've been able to let the team of FDJ Suez do a lot of work or marshal the front of the bunch, and so they haven't yet had to kind of put their noses in the wind, so to speak, but we might see them coming to the front towards the end of today's stage.
Lisa Van Bella, who's on the front for SD Works Pro Time, speaks into the radio. She's asking for assistance because she has used up all of her resources. She hands over to her teammate, and the gap to Anna Morris, our lone leader out front in the white, is starting to close on in. On the left-hand side in the indigo jerseys, that's Picnic Postenel. Can Charlotte Cole, a multiple stage winner in the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift, deliver a stage victory on Glasgow Green for the final stage of the Lloyds Tour of Britain Women?
We saw her have that unfortunate mechanical earlier on, but she stayed calm. It was really early. She got herself safely back into the bunch. And from her results on previous stages, it looks like she's got good legs. And so I definitely think she'll be in contention today.
She's been climbing well over the last 3 stages. She was there on the critical moments for Mara Roldan on stage 2 to help her Canadian teammate take a stage victory into Saltburn by the Sea. Now more teams start to arrive. The yellow jerseys of Visma Lisa Bike arrive at the front, with Ninka Veenhoven looking to try and challenge for a victory. It's Imogen Wolf who, wow, look at that. Look at the speeds and the close proximity that they're taking these corners.
You can also see the team of Little Trek just on the right-hand side of your screen. They're coming to the front. They've got their train set, and I think that they'll be protecting Anna Henderson, who is probably going to be the fastest finisher for them today.
You never know what could happen on a stage finish like this. Don't forget, we've got the short, sharp little climbs, and Anna Morris, well, it was a brave effort, wasn't it, to try and go for stage glory. She's gone from the front. She's just trying to hang on at the back here, the Olympic medalist for the Great Britain national team. Now everyone gets themselves set up, and now we're starting to see the traditional lead-out trains. Oh, almost a coming together between Lisa Van Bella and Esme Pepperkamp.
Yeah, we've seen these lead-out trains on so many occasions already during this race, because every intermediate sprint has almost been treated like the stage finish.
There we get a replay of that coming together of Esme Pepperkamp and Lisa Van Bella. They hold it upright, and here comes Canyon Strams on Crypto in those pink jerseys. Chiara Consoni, she's another rider who's come into this race with top form, and she knows she can try and challenge to the big sprinters. She's won big races in the past. Look at the way that the young Italian is just spinning away in third wheel currently. She looks so calm. Meanwhile, well, look at this. Ali Wollaston is at the back of the peloton here. This is not where she wants to be if she wants to try and take the overall here. The bonus seconds are critical. She needs to try and take the bonus seconds if she wants to win the overall, because Kat Ferguson is sitting comfortably alongside the European champion in the centre, completely out of trouble, and FDJ Suez have sent their riders back to bring Wollaston forward.
Exactly. Kat Ferguson is positioning herself really nicely. I'm not sure where her Movistar teammates are around her, but at the moment Kat Ferguson looks able to look after herself very well. And the wheel of the European champion is the perfect one to follow. But it looks to me like FDJ Suez are having to have a bit of a chat with Ali Wollaston, check that she's okay. Hopefully she's feeling all right heading into this final sprint. But they've done such a great job so far that I hope they'll be able to work their way forwards in these closing kilometres.
We're coming to Finistone Street before we'll make our way onto Argyle Street. This is a really demanding part of the course. 4 kilometres to go. Now the pink jerseys of EF Education Oatley move forward with Sarah Roy. Babette Vanderwolf is wanting to try and sprint for them. She's got a great lead out in Mirka Narven. Here is Lizzie Dignan in her final Lloyds Tour of Britain Women. The former world champion and 2-time winner of this race is going to do one last sterling job for her Little Trek teammates. It's Rihanna Marcus who's on the wheel. Emma Norsgaard-Björg who is sitting in third wheel. There is Anna Henderson sitting poised and ready, as well as Loretta Hansen.
Loretta Hansen has done that super domestique job again all stage. She's so strong. We've seen her countless times this race already, just doing a perfect job for the team. And the Little Trek team will be hoping that they can deliver a stage result today.
The European champion Lorena Wiebes is following the Polish rider Marta Lak of the SD Worx Pro Time squad. They make this right-hand shilly-shally into West George Street. They're going to pass the George Square on the right-hand side any moment now. At the back of this group, this is Georgia Baker in the purple jersey for Liv Alula-Jayco. Where are the team of Liv Alula-Jayco? Because don't forget, Quinty Ton is well positioned in the general classification. And can Georgia Baker or Ruby Roseman Gannon try and sprint at the end of today's stage to try and take stage glory? But meanwhile, look at the lead-out trains, shoulder to shoulder. Lidl Trek and EF Education Oatly, the most organised of the teams, and here comes the arrival of SD Worx Pro Time.
And once again, we see the green jersey of Kat Ferguson just nicely following the European champion's jersey up along the left-hand side of the peloton, making sure that she's in a perfect position to give herself the best opportunity to take some bonus seconds on the sprint in Glasgow Green.
Moving forward, it's Raquel Barbieri, one of the best lead-out riders in the world in the indigo and orange jerseys. Now it's Josie Nelson who moves forward in front of the Italian sprinter. The Italian sprinter Barbieri, number 121, is the last lead-out rider for Charlotte Cole. They're getting this set up perfectly. Josie Nelson, the young British rider, is alongside Lizzie Deignan, an absolute legend of the sport. Two Brits trying to lead out their sprinters.
And finally, I think I just had a shot of the red jersey on the shoulders of Ali Wollaston just starting to appear on the left-hand side of the bunch.
Wollaston is only just coming round that right-hand bend, and meanwhile, Wiebes, Cole, Henderson, they're already 25, 30 metres up the road. She's got a lot of work to do if she wants to try and take these bonus seconds.
Her team have done an incredible job so far, and now at this crucial moment, they seem to be a little bit out of position. They're a bit too far back, but it'll be interesting to see whether they can use these final few kilometres before the right-hand turn onto Glasgow Green to set Ali Wollaston up in the perfect position for the finale.
It's been such a well-executed plan thus far from FDJ Suez. Is it going to come unstuck and undone at the final moments, and crucially where it matters the most?
Lizzie Deignan is really putting the pressure on at the front, and at the moment it's so hard for anyone to move with these lead-out trains just putting on so much pace.
Lorena Wiebes, the European champion in the white and blue, has latched herself onto her big sprint rival Charlotte Cole's wheel. Marta Lak, her teammate, is currently sitting on the wheel of Lizzie Deignan in third in the purple. Marta Lak looking for Wiebes. Where is she? But the big question is, where is the red jersey? Where is Ali Wollaston? And where is FDJ Suez?
Lizzie Deignan is just sitting second wheel at the moment, and you can see the grimace on her face, and she swings off. She's done her final bit of effort in the Lloyds Tour of Britain Women.
Raquel Barbieri is bringing forward Charlotte Cole. Look at this from the Italian, one big acceleration. They're fighting all the way into this right-hand turn as they're going to make the right-hand turn into Glasgow Green. Look at this gritted teeth. Job well done for Barbieri. She swings off, hands over to Cole, through 1,000 metres to go, through the Flamme Rouge, and now we're getting ourselves set as we head into the park here in Glasgow Green.
I just saw a glimpse of Ali Wollaston on the right-hand side, but she still looks quite far back. There's a lot of work for her to do in these closing metres.
Marta Lak on the front in the purple is the European champion Wiebes, who's poised and ready. Consoni on the wheel in the pink jersey. Henderson's trying to go early. She's got Loretta Hansen in the wheel. Job well done from Lizzie Deignan. She can wave goodbye and be proud of the performance that she's had. 500 metres remain, and they're getting themselves set. Cole is on the wheel of Wiebes. Now Visma Leasebike start to move forward with Veenhoven. The Dutch woman is looking to try and take a World Tour victory. Babette van der Wolf is there in the pink, and meanwhile here comes Wollaston. Wollaston being brought up on the left-hand side by Jury. If Wollaston is there, the rider in the red jersey has got the green jersey who's following and tracking every move. What's the score going to be come the end? What is the position going to be? Wiebes strikes, she goes. Wiebes going for the stage victory. Wiebes is going, she's got daylight to Cole. Wiebes wins a 7th stage here, the Lloyds Tour of Britain. It's a 3rd place for Ali Wollaston, 4 bonus seconds, and she becomes the first rider from New Zealand to win the overall classification here at the Lloyds Tour of Britain. Job well done, and she did it when it mattered most.
What an execution from the team, and from Ali Wollaston finishing it off at the end.
Wiebes, what a performance. Daylight between her and Charlotte Cole, a punch to the air. What a comeback. 7 stage victories. No rider has ever won more stages in the history of the sport. 2nd for Cole, and meanwhile Wollaston can thank her teammates, be proud. That was a performance of a lifetime.
Team SD Works finally get the stage victory that they've been after, but what a performance from this team FDJ Suez, and you can see what it means to them, the emotion, as tears flow from the eyes of Ali Wollaston.
Lorena Wiebes takes the win in Glasgow with Charlotte Cole in second, Ali Wollaston in third. Chiara Consoni was fourth, Vivette van der Volk in fifth. Anna Henderson claims sixth, just ahead of Kat Ferguson in seventh. This is Lorena Wiebes' seventh stage win at the Tour of Britain Women, making her the most successful rider in the race's history.
It was again a tough race. With the city centre, you know that it's like all the time you have to push the power. But the team did a really good job to keep me safe in the front. And for me it was perfect towards the finish, and I could do my sprint as I wanted to do.
Dominique Vlorashak wins the Queen of the Mountains competition. She missed out on the overall win, but Kat Ferguson did win the points competition. And the 19-year-old also claims the Best Young Riders jersey.
If you told me at the beginning I'd have come second overall and also win a stage, I'd have been over the moon, so I can't be too disappointed. It's been a really good and memorable week, definitely one I remember, and with all the crowds here today and my family and friends, been super special, and I'm grateful to the team and everyone for all the support.
And the winner of the Lloyds Tour of Britain 2025 is Ali Wollaston.
I was lucky that there were a lot of seconds up for grabs today. But the plan was to just get as many seconds as I could, and unfortunately Kat was in my wheel for every single one of the sprints, so it really came down to the last sprint. Halfway through the lap I thought for sure that my race is over. I felt really, really terrible, but I was lucky I had the most motivating teammates, and they really picked me up one by one. It was like a team relay to get me back to the front, and I really couldn't have done it without them today, and I'm just so grateful for the work that they did, I couldn't be happier in this team, and just so immensely grateful for the support that I got over the last 4 days.
Confirmation of the GC. The New Zealander won by just 4 seconds from Ferguson. Caroline Swinkles was third at 22 seconds, and an impressive performance from Anna Henderson and Millie Cousins made it 3 British riders in the top 10. That's it for the 2025 edition of the Tour of Britain Women, and what an incredible 4 days it's been. From all of us here, goodbye.